What we did in the previous session is we discussed about different things within this architecture. We discussed about segregation of access, where we create safes within CyberArk. Then we discussed that if you have safes, then what do you have for the security of safes? We have encryption involved on every level within CyberArk. There will be encryption. You have it on accounts level, on safes level, on vaults level. Then we moved forward and we discussed about the prerequisites of the vault in terms of software. Okay, we have to get three files: master key, operator key, and a license file from the CyberArk team. You have to keep it on the vault server, and only then you can start with the installation of the vault. That is something we did. The next topic that we will be discussing here, it is the services within the vault. Now, what are services? Basically, what happens that whenever you have a system or whenever you have, let's say, an application that's working, the application to perform its backend tasks, it creates services for itself. Okay, your machine to be able to perform the backend tasks, it creates services for itself. Vault as well here, it's an applicationist, it's a component that we are going to install on a server. And for the Vault's internal task, the Vault creates services for itself. What do you have to? Okay, I just lost you in between. There was some network issue. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is that whenever you have a system like a laptop or desktop, or maybe within the laptop or desktop you have applications installed, you have softwares installed. All of these things, they want some backend tasks to be done. Okay, if you're working on this laptop, there will be a lot of things that goes in the backend for the internet to work, for the Wi-Fi to work, for the sound to work. For everything, there is a service that runs in the backend. Similarly, we are having this meeting on Zoom. So for the Zoom to work or for the Zoom to host this meeting, there is a service that's created in the backend of it, and it is helping the Zoom to work on everything. Similarly, because right now we are discussing about the Vault. Vault, it's a component that is there for the storage of the data. And along with the storage, it needs a lot of other things to do as well. So for the Vault, it creates a service for itself on the server. Now, when you are learning things, you have to discuss about everything, about all of the services that Vault is having, and what feature, what service will give you within the Vault. Okay. So when we talk about this services topic, what happens that we have two types of services: mandatory services and optional services. What are these two types of services? In total, there are seven services. Three of them are mandatory, four of them are optional. Mandatory services will be the services that is very, very important for your vault. You cannot work without them. Your vault will stop working. Okay. But optional services, they will be the service that will not affect anything on the vault. Like you will be getting some additional features, you will be getting some automations, but it's not like that if you stop optional services, your vault will stop functioning.
So, like, is it a sorry, sorry to ask this silly question. Like, is it a cloud based or like still like we need to maintain the on-prem and servers and services?
See, for the vault, it is advised that you keep it on physical device, but mostly you do it on cloud itself, on digital servers. virtual servers.
Okay.
Yeah. But there as well, if you install the vault, there will be services that gets created in the backend.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be discussing about both of them, mandatory and optional. Mandatory, as I said, very, very important for the vault. If you stop them, vault will stop working. Optional, not important, only additional service that is there for some feature enhancement. Even if they are getting stopped, nothing is going to get affected. Okay. Starting with this one, first mandatory service. It's private ARC database. So what happens? We know till now that Vault it's a component that is the repository of your architecture. Whatever data you have, your onboarded accounts, your logs, your recordings, your policies, everything is stored on the Vault. But if you talk about onboarding your accounts, do you do it from the Vault or do you do it from the PVWA? From where do we onboard our accounts?
PVWA.
Correct. We do it from the PVWA. So whatever we are doing from a PVWA. We are onboarding accounts. We are modifying policies, logs and recordings. It's something that's created by the PSM. And what is happening here is at the end, every data you have, it's getting stored on the vault. So how is it getting stored there? How Vault on in the real time basis it's getting every single data. It's this service, it's this private ARC service that works in the backend and it allows the Vault to go to the PVW and take every modification that's done over there. Okay. So yes, Vault is in the backend. It's storing your details. PVWA is the front end. It's allowing the users to interact. It's allowing the users to do the things. But for all of the things to get back to the database, this is the service that works. And that is why it's mandatory. Okay. That is what it is responsible to do. Whatever modifications are done on the PVWA, it takes that and it updates it back in the database. First mandatory service of the world. Okay. The next service, next mandatory service that we have here is something that we call as private ARC server. All of these services that we are discussing here, it's something that gets automatically created with your Vault's installation. You install the Vault, they will be created on the server, and they will be helping the Vault to work. Database will be helping the Vault to get the things. Private ARC server, it's basically a service that will be managing the events of the Vault. Managing the events as in what communication is coming to the Vault, okay, what ports are allowed, what exceptions are there, is there any new integration, anything, any event that is happening on the Vault's level, any change that is happening on the Vault level. It checks with everything. It also gives you the logs about it that this is what is happening. And that's what it does. Managing the communications, checking with the ports, checking with the existing communications. Okay, so that's what this service will be doing. When we say managing the event or maintaining the event, it is only maintaining the events of your vault. It is not doing anything for the users. Okay, like what user is logging in here, what user is accessing what server, doing what activity. You don't have any log for that. You have the logs for only those activities that is happening within the vault. Whatever is happening within the vault, you get the details about it. Okay. The third thing, and one more thing, that because it is managing the events, it is checking with everything. That is why it is also known. Okay. For your user activities, like what user is doing what user is logging in where, for that we have PSM, a different component within CyberArk. But just to maintain the things on the vaults level, we have this service, Private Arc Server, that works in the backend. The last mandatory service that we have here, it's CyberArk Logic Container. Now, what is this? This is a service that is responsible. Okay, what happens is that when we have different components will have different configurational files for them. Vault will have the configuration files for itself. PVWA will have the configuration files for itself. CPM will have it. Okay. And whenever you make any configurational level changes, let's say you are integrating something or you're changing something that should be executed on the config files of the vault, that change will be done with by the CyberArk logic container. Let's say you integrated your Active Directory with the vault. For this integration, there will be some changes that has to be executed on the vault's config file on the vault's level. Who will do that? Will there be any user who will be executing it? No. We have this service, CyberArk Logic Container, and it is going to execute everything that is required, that is defined on that config file.
So
All
this
right.
is all like kind of a one-time setup, right? I mean, like when you install the CyberArk or the Vault, so basically we need to take care of the services and configuration.
Basically, whenever you install the Vault, these services, like all of the 7 services, they get created automatically. Now, mandatory services are something that will be running in the backend every time. You have to make sure that they are running. If they stop, the Vault as well won't work. Okay. Now, if they are
Okay.
running, they will be having the, like every different service is having a different function to perform. They will be doing it in the backend. No issues with that. Let's say everything is done, your Vault is installed, your PVWA is installed, the services are running in the backend. and you integrated your Active Directory with CyberArk. Whenever you do this, the changes have to be executed. It has to be defined on the vault's level. So this logic container that's already created on the vault while its installation, it will be doing the task.
And is the vault accessible to all the users, or is like it's only like whoever is the CyberArk admins, basically they take care of this vault?
No, it is not accessible for every user. Why? Because it is the database. Okay, this is how your architecture will be. You have the vault here. It's something that will be isolated from every single user, from your organization. Okay, this is your organizational architecture. Why do we secure it? Because vault, it's a very sensitive thing. It's the database. So every single data you have, it's stored here. Now, if you allow the users to directly interact with the vault, in that case, what happens that every data you have, every account, every log, every policy, it will be accessible for every single user. Okay, that is the issue that you
Okay.
get. It will be accessible for every single user. And if every single data gets accessible for every single user, that means you're compromising your data. So we don't
Mhm.
allow the users to access this. They come here, they interact with PVWA. PVWA, it's a CyberArk component itself. It communicates with the vault and gets the thing from you.
So kind of a front end tool for
Correct.
CyberArk, right?
The front
PVW.
end
Okay.
interface for CyberArk. Any further questions, anyone? No questions. Anything from you, Kalyani or Ramesh? You were not there in the previous sessions.
I could not hear the previous sessions, right? So I don't
Okay.
have any questions as of now. So
All right. Okay. So,
So this container service, when you say they're responsible to execute changes defined on vault config files, so uh, if I understand correctly, the way you make changes on the Active Directory, for example, is that you define certain rules on the config files, and then this service is going to execute based on the rules defined in the config file. Is that correct?
no, not directly on the Active Directory. Active Directory, it's a different system. Okay. You can do whatever you want there. That is not linked with Vault. But when we do integration of Active Directory with the Vault, we define certain parameters there about your directory. Okay, your directory address, your credentials, your domain name. We define all of these things. Now, if you're changing anything on these parameters, then it will be defined as a change. Changing anything on the CyberArk's level for Active Directory, that is something you call as change. On directory, whatever you do, you create new users, you create new groups. That won't be executed here.
Okay.
Yes. Any
but
further
that is
question?
like a
Yeah,
so either you onboard it through IAM tool or like you can connect to the CyberArk with the AD and to import whatever to provision the users into CyberArk
correct.
or it's okay.
And that is the reason why we integrate your AD with the Vault. Because mostly the users that you have, it will be there on the AD, and you want them to get the access of CyberArk. So instead of doing this manually, you integrate it, and the users will automatically get their access.
Right. So I don't think let us say if an organization has like a lot of users, like thousands of them, we may don't want to put everybody into the CyberArk, but whomever has like privileged account, sorry, my voice is not great today. So any privileged accounts, those are the ones we want to manage through CyberArk, right? So those are the ones only because for the licensing cost or anything else, we the privileged IDs or service accounts can be managed through CyberArk,
Yes.
right?
So what happens is that let's say within your Active Directory, as you said, that there can be multiple users. There can be thousands of users. Now, what happens that we have two types of accounts. One will be your end user account, and the other one will be your privileged accounts. Okay, whatever privileged accounts you have on the directory, accounts having additional permissions, all of them will be onboarded within CyberArk. Now, whenever we onboard an account, we onboard it by creating an entry of that account. We go to CyberArk, we define that this is the username of this account, this is the password, this is the IP where this is created, and the account it gets onboarded like this. Okay. And now comes the user accounts, the end user accounts. On the AD, there will be end users as well, that the end users that will be accessing those privileged accounts. So these end users, they don't have to be onboarded. They just need the membership of CyberArk. So what do you do for them is you create a group for them on Active Directory, like CyberArk users group, something like this. And you link this group with your CyberArk. Okay, so whatever user is a part of this group, they will be able to access CyberArk. And whatever users is not a part, they won't be able to access. So even if you are having thousands of users on the directory, only those users who are a part, who is added as a member here, they will be able to access everything there.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Because you don't want all empty users in there.
Correct.
Whomever is member of that group, I mean, definitely who has access to that privileged accounts, those are the people who want to access the CyberArk to manage through PVWA.
Correct. Any further questions, anyone?
I mean, yeah, same topic. I mean, so you're saying that we have that control on the CyberArk side, wherein we control the user's access. Let's say I have 10 users coming from the Active Directory group, but I want to only 5 people need to have CyberArk, and we can provide the access to only those 5 people instead of 10 people from the entire directory, right? That control we can do it from CyberArk, correct?
Not from CyberArk, but basically from Active Directory itself.
But in Active Directory, we have 10 users, right? I don't want to give to 10 users. Whoever is the manager of the 10 users group, he's saying, okay, I want only for this specific folks needs to have access to the CyberArk. See, let's say,
That's
in an organization, right? Let's say, in the same group, 5 people are from directly working for a client and 5 people are contractors. So what I noticed is usually for a contractors they don't give access to the CyberArk. So let's say whenever I need any password for a database, I reach out to a full-time guy. Hey, I need the password for this. So that way, if you want to, most of the companies, I mean, what I've noticed is they control like that. So where that control comes from? Is it from CyberArk or is it where are
so
I mean?
I mean, I can answer that actually. You can correct me, Kritika.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I think, yeah, Venkat, I think it's earlier she said there is a link between the CyberArk and the AD group.
Mm,
You're right. I think usually employees only they allow them to check in, check out the passwords from the vault.
yeah.
So there is a AD group membership that they have to be part of that group. Then if you are accessing the CyberArk is already know that group. When you launch the CyberArk UI, it automatically sees that AD group which is linked internally, and it will
Okay.
confide. It will check that if you're a member of that group, then it will let you in, and then whatever the privileges were assigned in the CyberArk, that will let
Mm,
you check in, check out the password.
okay. Okay. Got it. So, I mean, that policies are we defining in the CyberArk level itself, right? The PVWA side, or
What policies? What exactly policies?
I mean, the control policies, right? I mean, the
Okay.
user control policy.
Yes. Basically, what happens that within CyberArk, if you see, we have different levels. Okay. What do we have is we
Mm,
have this vault first, then we have save, and then we have accounts. And within the save or within the account, we have different types of permissions. Okay.
okay.
Let's say there is a user who need auditor access. Okay, so for auditor's access, he will need the permission to audit safes or audit accounts or check with the logs, check with the recordings. That's what an auditor will want. If the user, he is an end user, he does not want to audit anything, he just want to use this account and connect to the target machine so that he can perform things over there. So you grant his access to use that account only. All right. So there are
Yeah.
different levels of permission that can be granted on safes or on the accounts level. But before this, what you have to do is you have to allow the user to get in here. Then only the permissions can be granted here on the accounts level.
Okay.
Correct?
Got it.
So
Yeah.
for the users to get in here, what do? Is we integrate your CyberArk with your directory. After this integration, you create a group on your directory, a group for CyberArk users. Now,
Mhm.
let's say there are only these 5 people that need the access of CyberArk. You go to the directory, their IDs are already there on the directory, you add them to this group. Okay. Once you add them to this group, they will already get the access to the CyberArk. Okay. They will be allowed to get in till this step. Now, here within CyberArk, what safe will be accessible or what account will be accessible and what permission will he get? That is something you control manually from CyberArk.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the control of CyberArk, it's done through Active Directory, but the permissions within CyberArk, it is done through PVWA.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Anything else, anyone? Okay. Starting with the optional services, the first optional service that we have here, it's CyberArk Event Notification Engine. What is this? This is a service. Okay. So what happens that this is an optional service. That means it is not mandatory. It is not compulsory for the world to have. Okay. And what is it doing? It is a service that is responsible to trigger auto-generated email alerts. Email alerts for what? Email alerts for the events that is happening on the CyberArk's architecture. Now, one thing if you see here, I said CyberArk's architecture. I did not say world's architecture. Here, for the private arc server, it was mentioned that it maintains the events that's happening on the world's architecture. But even notification engine, whatever activity is happening within your entire architecture. When I say activity, it can be, let's say, a password change failure. We know within CyberArk we have a component CPM that changes the password automatically. Let's say for the CPM, you defined a policy that after 5 days you want the password to be changed. Today it's the fifth day, the CPM triggered a password change for all of your accounts. For all of the accounts, it worked, but there are 2, 3 accounts for which this password change it failed. Now you have two things here. One thing is the usual process is you can, whenever you generate the report or whenever you filter the account on the basis of failures on them, you will be getting it. But if you want that whenever this happen, you should be notified immediately for it. You can integrate this ENE, this event notification engine with the Vault. Whenever you integrate it, automatically the emails will be triggered whenever this password change failure happens. Okay, if the password change has failed, automatically, immediately a mail will be triggered to the admins. They will be going through it, they'll be going to the CyberArk architecture and they'll be fixing it out. Okay, let's say there is a new safe that is created on CyberArk. Now, for this one as well, you have configured that you want the events to be triggered. So whenever this happens, the admins they will be getting the notification. Okay, basically there is a list of event. You can select that what do you want to get triggered, what do you don't want to be triggered, who is going to receive the mails. Whatever events you select there, automatically for all of them, ENE will be triggering the mails for their respective to their respective recipients. Okay, so this is not a mandatory service. Why? Because even without this, let's say for an account a change it failed, so your CyberArk won't stop working with this. Yes, for this account there will be issues like whenever the user tries to use it, his connection won't work. He will then reach out to the admin, and the admin will be fixing it. So anyhow, the this thing will be fixed. If let's say if you are doing the auditing on regular basis, so while auditing itself, you will get this detail that this password has failed. But what we are getting with this is whenever something happens, you immediately get informed about that. Okay, an additional feature that CyberArk offers. All right. The next optional service that we have here, it's hardened Windows firewall. What is this? To understand this, we'll come to this particular topic, communication within CyberArk. Here, what we discussed that Vault, because it's the database. So for its security, we keep it in a different firewall, and your components, CPM, PVWA, and PSM, because PVWA, it's the user interface. Users will be interacting with it. So it will be kept within the organization's architecture, organization's network zone. Okay. Now the users, whatever users you have, they interact with the PVWA without any restriction. PVWA will be having a port number 1858. Through this port, it will communicate with the vault, and vault will be allowing the PVWA to retrieve the things. That's how it works. All right. So basically, for this CyberArk architecture, for the connection to work, we have to allow port number 1858 on your component server and on your vault server. Okay. Now, whenever you install this vault, this hardened Windows firewall that I wrote down here, it's basically a service that allows the vault to take control of its firewall. After taking control, it will be restricting every single communication and automatically allows 1858. That is a thing this service is doing for the vault. It's hardening the vault's firewall. After hardening, it's restricting everything and it's automatically allowing port number 1858. Now, hardening of vault or isolating of vault, it's something that's required, but this is something that can be done manually as well. You restrict all of the ports, you stop all of the communication, you only allow port number 1858. This can be done manually as well, and it's a one-time mechanism. Once you define this, it will be saved, and for every communication, the same port will be used. So for one-time mechanism, anyway, this can be done manually. But yeah, if you're having a service for it, this particular task, the task of isolation, it will be done automatically by the vault. Okay, so again, a service that is there for some additional features, for some automation, but even if you're not having it, not running it, not going to affect anything. You can do it manually. Okay, so that's what we have here, the second optional service. Any questions, anyone in this? Okay, the next service that we have here, it's private arc remote control agent. What is this service? So, in the starting of this session, I said that vault is something that has to be isolated. And for the security of the vault, we don't keep anything additional on it. We don't keep additional softwares, we don't keep additional applications. And when I say additional software or application, we should not even keep your antivirus agents or even the monitoring agent. Okay, nothing should be there. But what CyberArk has done, CyberArk has created its own monitoring solution that we call as remote control agent. Okay, you install it on the vault. Once you install it, it creates its service for itself. And when it creates its service, this service will be helping the agent to monitor the things from the vault and give the details about the vault. Okay, so what is this? This is something that is responsible to monitor the parameters. Okay, whatever you want to monitor, because this is the monitoring solution provided by CyberArk itself. This will be monitoring it and it will be providing it to the users. How will it provide that? I'll just show this to you. Let's say this is your vault. Within the vault, you have the agent installed here. Okay, and this is a remote control agent. Okay, that's what we have here. Now this agent, it is installed on the vault, so it will be monitoring every single thing. After monitoring, what will it do is there will be a client for this agent. Okay, this was the remote control agent. This is the client for it. So once it has monitored and it has collected the data, it will be sending it to this client. And for this client, where do we install it? we install it either on PVWA or on CPM or on PSM server. Why on them? Because those components, they are within the organization's network zone. So the users, they can get into their server and they can, like the vault admins, they can get into the server and they can monitor the vault's parameters. And because PVWA, CPM, and PSM, it's already communicating with the vault through 1858. So for this client's communication as well with the agent, it will be done through 1858. Okay, that's how the things are done. Okay, you'll be getting a real-time analysis that what thing is going on in the vault. What do you have there? Users, they won't be asked to get into the vault very frequently, because getting into the vault or logging into the vault is something that's not a very secure method. So we just installed an agent while installing the vault. Agent will be monitoring things, agent will be sending it to the client, and you are accessing the client for every single detail. Okay, and whenever you install it, this service, it gets created with it. Okay, now we have the last service here. The last service is CyberArk Vault Disaster Recovery. Okay, CyberArk Vault Disaster Recovery. This is the last service, last optional service that we have here. Now, does anyone know here what a disaster recovery vault is?
I mean, not the vault, but yeah, in general, disaster recovery. I mean, how it works, that I know.
Okay, what is it in general, disaster recovery?
It's like a production environment we built, wherein the actual production environment goes down. We bring up in the everything from the disaster recovery environment, right? So let's say you have data centers in Texas and in New York, right? So we keep the Texas one as a backup for disaster recovery. If something goes wrong, like power outage or network issues, some reason everything went down in the New York, which is a production environment. That's when we bring up everything from Texas and make the operations continuously.
Correct. So disaster recovery, anywhere you have heard about this term, it's a backup of your main production, main primary architecture. Okay. It is something that will be installed in a different data center, so that whenever your primary system, your production system, it goes down, something goes wrong with it, the disaster recovery, it's there, it's having the same thing, same data, it can take over, and the users can do the tasks on it. Okay. Similarly, on this vault, it's a system, it's a database that's having every single detail. Okay. And then we have the components that are communicating with the vault, and they are getting things, getting the details from the vault. Without the vault, the components, they cannot do anything. Okay. So just to keep a backup of this vault, what do? Is we create another server on which we'll be having this disaster recovery. Here, a new vault will be installed, but it will be in passive mode. Okay. Being in passive mode, you start a replication on this disaster recovery vault. So whatever you have on your main data center, that gets replicated over here. And whenever this goes down, this disaster recovery, it will take over. Okay. So now this service, CyberArk Vault Disaster Recovery Service, this is a service that will be running on the DR server. And this is the service that will be helping the DR to go to the primary system and replicate the things from there. If it's running, replication will be there. If it is not running, replication won't be there. Okay. Now would say that okay, if it's there for the disaster recovery and if it is getting stopped, then the replication as well is getting stopped. Then why is it mandatory? Or why is it optional? Why is it not mandatory? So this is not mandatory because this is not there for the primary system. It's working in the backend for the DR, not for the primary vault. Okay, and anything that is not required for the primary, it's not a mandatory services for the vault. That is what we have here. Responsible to replicate the data from one vault to another. Any questions, anyone?
So you said that this particular disaster recovery service runs on the vault, which is meant for disaster recovery, right? So does this service actually pulls from the main vault, or the main vault pushes the data to the disaster recovery whenever changes happens to that?
It pulls the data.
It pulls. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, can you configure the time frame on that, or is it hard coded?
Yeah, you can configure that. How often you want this replication to be done, you can configure it.
Okay.
Anything else, anyone?
On the control agent client that you said, with the client, using the client, can you remotely stop and apart from health monitoring, can you do start of vault?
Starting the server, like logging into the server.
No, from the I'm talking about a private or remote control client.
Yes,
So the agent sends the signals to the client. So the client, I'm thinking it's kind of a dashboard where it
correct.
can display all the health related information. So are there any options on the dashboard to restart the vault?
No, no. It's there only for the monitoring purpose, and you can just monitor the things through it. The logs will be there and all.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So after this as well, like after the services, we have one last topic that is your vault's architecture, and that is something we'll start on Monday. Okay. After completing the architecture part, we'll move on to the deployment of this vault. Okay. Before that, you have a weekend in between, so whatever sessions you have missed. Ramesh, you have missed the previous session. Kalyani, you have missed 2 sessions, and Venkat, you have missed 3 sessions. So you can just revise everything from there. I'll be adding you to the group, Venkat.
Yeah, maybe while we are in the class, can we get that link in the group so we can complete those in the weekend?
Just after the session, I'll send it to you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we not going to have class tomorrow? Tomorrow is Friday here.
No.
India,
Basically,
it
we
is
work
Saturday.
on Indian timings, and tomorrow it's Saturday for India. So tomorrow you don't have the sessions.
Okay, that means US time, I will be having class on Sunday night.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one general question about all these IAM tools and the PAM tools, right? I mean, see, now everything is getting, people are moving towards cloud, right? See, I mean, and every cloud technology has its own tools, right? Let's say, for example, if you take Azure, Azure has its key vault, AWS has its secret server, right? And when it comes to the CyberArk, it's a third-party tool, right? I mean, what dominates more? CyberArk dominates over the cloud inbuilt tools like key vault or secret server. I mean, why people or projects need to spend money on CyberArk over those tools?
Okay, basically what happens is that CyberArk here it offers you can onboard any type of account within it, any application, any account belonging to any system. The first thing that you get here. Second thing is within CyberArk, it works on a lot of policies. Like it can change your password automatically. It can give you the session recordings. It can give you temporary access to the servers if you need. That's it. That is someone who's working on contract basis. And for him, you don't want a permanent access to CyberArk. So that can be done. Okay. All of these things like password rotation or recording part, this is something that does not happen on Azure Vault or any other thing. So yeah, we are getting some additional features. That's why the companies they are trusting this third party tool and implementing it. Okay.
Got
Yes,
it.
they do secure your accounts, but they don't provide all of the features that you're getting from CyberArk.
Okay, got it.
Yes. All right. So that's it for today. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll connect back on Monday, and yeah, for you, Ramesh, it will be Sunday evening.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, please add me to
Bye.
that group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.